ProWrestlingTees.com/616entertainment is the only place to grab an official t-shirt for the channel. There's a million of them. Check them out. This video is also brought to you in part by the Patreon producers, without whom content like this would not be possible. Happy Halloween, Dan-Dans. Thank you very much for checking out my review of Halloween Kills. Now, I knew I was going to talk about this movie for a long time, and I'm going to take your comments and questions at the end of this review. So there was really no point to me doing this entire thing on camera. You don't need to look at my face while I'm talking about the movie. You're going to get enough ghoulish shit today at Halloween with all the trick-or-treaters. So the majority of this review is going to take place in a podcast format. You can minimize this window. You're going to miss out on the nice little thumbnail I made, but as far as the video goes, this is not the scripted, in-depth history of style that the other movies have been covered with so far. The history of Halloween Part 6 is going to drop after Halloween Ends comes out next year. 2018 Kills and Ends will all be covered together in that style. This review today is freeform, non-scripted, or unscripted. What's the word? It's just gonna be me kind of sharing my thoughts on the movie, and I'm very verbose, I'm long-winded, and I beleaguer every point that I try to make. So this is just gonna be probably an hour and a half long, so kick back, have a good time, happy Halloween, and let's talk about Halloween Kills. It's finally time, let's get into it. Halloween Kills. You know, I think this was a highly anticipated movie. We know it was a highly anticipated movie based on the fact that it's already made $100 million at the box office. But I think not just Halloween fans, but horror fans and just like casual moviegoers in general, I think everybody gets excited when there's a movie like this right around the corner, and it's got that legendary feel to it. You know, Michael Myers has the sort of pull, and the Halloween name has the sort of pull that not a lot of things do out there. You know, Friday the 13th, Jason, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, even Child's Play with Chucky. He's got a fucking TV show now. Had a dog shit reboot, and now he's got a TV show that people are kind of raving about. I'm hearing really good things. I haven't checked it out just yet, but I will. Halloween Kills. Hotly anticipated. Hits theaters. Everybody goes to see it. $100 million at the box office so far, as I said. Now, there seems to be a line drawn right down the middle with this movie. And maybe that's a little harsh, but let me describe why I said drawn right down the middle. I know people personally, not just you guys in the comments and other people I've seen on Twitter, but I know people personally who have gone to see Halloween Kills. Two of my buddies I went to go see it with, the artist formerly known as Mike Charles and No Taxes Nigel Bravo. We all saw it together, and those two said it was great. They loved it, had a lot of fun with it, super entertained. That's one side of the spectrum. The other side of the spectrum is my good buddy, the distinguished Daniel R. Fiorio. I run into him. He's working at the good old shop over there, and I pop in and say, "What's up?" And he says, "I saw Halloween Kills last night." And I go, "What'd you think?" And he goes, "I fucking hated it." These are people I know in real life. I've already got both sides of the coin, and those are just the first people I thought of. I know other people who really liked it. I know other people who fucking hated it. Now, I know you click on my review to find out what I think about it, and I'm going to want to know what you guys think about it. And I guess I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm not going to make you wait till the fucking very end to tell you what I think about it. I really liked Halloween Kills. I did. Is it perfect? No, it's not fucking perfect at all. There are issues with it, but there are also, in my opinion, some of the coolest, some of the scariest, some of the legitimately... I fucked up this sentence. Some of the most legitimately chilling scenes ever in the entire 40-plus year franchise. How many times did they say 40 years in this fucking movie? There's one thing. In this review being unscripted and just kind of freeform, I have my notes right here. You guys like the sound of pages turning? I take my notes for all the videos that I'm writing and editing. First, I take them with an actual pen in an actual book before I even grab the computer. But I have my notes here, and I figure let's hit some of these negatives first, and then we'll hit some positives, and I have some other things that I want to touch on. But yeah, right up front, I did quite enjoy it. Some problems, and here are some of them. For as engaging as the movie was, and for as cool as I thought some of the scenes were, there's also some horrifically bad writing in this movie in certain parts, and I don't mean situationally or as far as the story goes. Dialogue. Some of the dialogue was fucking awful. There's a part where, and we're going full spoilers by the way, so I hope you've seen the movie by now, but Nurse Marion Chambers is in the car and Michael's attacking the car. He gets the door open and he's coming after her. She points a revolver. And instead of just shooting him, she takes the time to go, Michael, this is for Dr. Loomis. Now, if there's one thing I hate in a movie, it's making me stop to go, get the fuck out of here. You're telling me this mass murderer is coming after you and you're going to stop to get your quip in? That was very MCU. That was very Marvel, Disney. That shit drives me fucking crazy. Can't stand it. I'm all for a little bit of comedy here and there. And the little kid from Halloween 2018, who has a cameo here in Kills, by the way, which big pop for me, made me very happy. That kid was funny. And he was great comic relief, but to get your quip in when the killer is right in front of you, didn't like that. We had the same sort of deal at the end where Sheriff Brackett, who I don't know how old that guy is, but motherfucker, he looked like he was in his 50s back in 1978. Sheriff Brackett's got to be 117 years old by now. But he, when they have Michael surrounded, which I'm going to touch on more later, he takes the time to say, hey, Michael, it's Halloween. Everyone's entitled to one good scare. Now, are you telling me that that guy remembers saying that to Laurie Strode 40 years ago? You're telling me that that was as poignant to that sheriff in his life as it was to us as the viewer of the movie? There's no fucking way he would remember this little throwaway thing that he said to Laurie. Or, like, is fucking Sheriff Brackett every night before he goes to bed, every morning he wakes up, he opens his eyes and he goes, man, I got that line ready for Michael. If Michael Myers ever comes back, I can't wait to drop this line on him. Sheriff Brackett is fucking George Costanza from the Jerk Store episode. Oh, well, the Jerk Store called. They're out of you. That was, that drove me nuts. And then, yeah, just other little moments of bad dialogue. Like Tommy Jarvis and Lonnie Elon are putting the plan together to go look for Michael Myers. And this is a very serious situation. These guys know what Michael Myers is and what he's capable of. And Lonnie goes, check out this sassy tackle. What the fuck is that? They're just... I'm begging you guys. David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, I know you're listening. You know, I know you're big fans. And I'm a big fan as well. Ease up for Halloween Ends, okay? Ease up. Because it was a little rough here. It was a little rough. You know, fucking Lindsay Wallace pulls up in this very same scene. And I think Lonnie's just like, you're coming with us? She goes, well, I can't let you guys have all the fun. Am I watching Star Wars? You know, is she this fucking soldier who's like, well, I can't wait to grab my rifle and step back into combat? This is a woman, like, in her 50s. You know? Well, I can't let you guys have all the fun. Get the fuck out of here. So, those were some negatives. I want to hit you with some positives now, because we're going to keep this balanced. I said I liked it a lot at the start, and then I immediately go into negatives. But we're going to keep this fair and balanced. The kills. You know, it's the fucking namesake of the movie. I hope it has good kills. The kills here are the best they've ever been. Without a doubt. If you're a gore hound, if you are entertained by buckets of blood and violence, fucking Halloween Kills have more than has you covered. Now, I just want to spotlight some of the great kills. First of all, Big John and Little John, who are 10 out of 10 characters. I'm so upset that Big John and Little John died because they were so good. When they realize that someone's in the house and Big John picks up that like 3-inch knife and he's like, it's okay. I have this knife. It's like, he feels safe because he has that knife, but we know what's been going on. So you and I watching the movie are like, oh boy, you have no idea what you're in for. That gave me a big pop. But dude, Big John getting stabbed in the armpit makes me so uncomfortable. I never thought about what that would look like, and then seeing it made me think about what that would feel like, and I don't like it. I'm talking about it now and I don't like it. It's fucking bothering me. You know, we see people get stabbed in the stomach. We see their throats get slit. We've seen it 100,000 times. If you watch horror movies, you see this shit. But someone getting a knife plunged 10 inches into their armpit, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So, Big John's death was great. I really enjoyed the light tube to the throat. I don't know the lady's name, I can't remember it, but she was the cemetery, like, groundskeeper or caretaker. I don't know what the fuck you call that cemetery person. But from 2018, she kept an eye on the cemetery. We see her here in Halloween Kills, who was presumably her husband. I don't know, guys who seem to be, like, around her age, maybe a little older, I don't know. Michael massacres these fuckers, and it was great. It was super entertaining. The older guy, Michael, like, reaches through a wall and, like, pulls the guy's head down, and, like, glass from part of the door goes in the back of the guy's neck and comes out of the front of his throat. That was awesome. And she is standing in the kitchen with a knife. She arms herself. She has the frame of mind to be like, oh, this is bad. So she arms herself and she tries to leave and she can't get out the door. I don't remember why. Was it locked? Who the fuck doesn't know how to unlock their own door? But Michael comes into the kitchen and he looks at her and he sees that she has a knife in her hand. I mean, we assume that he sees it. He kind of just stares at her for a second. And then he looks over to the right. He walks over to, like, the fixture over their oven, pulls out a light tube, breaks the front half of it off, steps towards her and just jams it into her throat. No wasted motion, no showmanship, none at all. It was just like this guy, he, like, looks over, he goes, oh, that's a tool. Grab the tool. Use the tool. Like, that was his mindset. And that one was so to the point. No wasted motion. Totally function over fashion, you know? But then we see she is, like, clinging to life. She's dying. She's not going to make it, obviously. She's bleeding out. But Michael pulls her, who I assume is her husband, into the room with her. And we have seen in the past how Michael likes to set up, not trophies, but, like, he likes to create a show. He poses victims. You know, we saw in the original Halloween, he puts, was it Linda's corpse? He puts on the bed with the Judith headstone there, and then he rigs up Bob's body to come swinging out of the closet when Laurie gets too close to it. Michael's a fucking weirdo. He does shit like this. So, but this is the first time I feel like we've ever seen him really, like, do it. The first time we've seen him in the act, which was really something to look at. You know, even in Halloween 2018, he got real creative. Like, he cut that one cop's head off and he carved it up. He, like, cut out the eyes and he cut this big smile in it. And then he jammed a flashlight into, like, the neck stump to turn the head into a jack-o'-lantern. So he put thought into that. He put effort into that. That took some time, you know? But we didn't see him do it. Here in Halloween Kills, we see Michael drag this big fucking man. He, like, bends him over the kitchen table, turns around, and like anybody's kitchen, there's a big knife rack with your different steak knives and shit like that. Michael takes one out, jams it into the guy's back as hard as he can. And then instead of immediately turning around and grabbing two more, stab, stab, turn around, grab two more, stab, stab, this was a really interesting moment and I know this is going to be funny eventually in the history of Halloween Part 6, where I'm like wording this very carefully because I want it to sound good when I write it, but this is totally freeball, so it's going to be sloppy. But he jams that knife into that fucker's back, and then instead of just turning around to grab a new one immediately, he kind of leans back and looks at it for a second. He has his hands up in front of him. And the way I was describing this to my buddies after we just got out of the theater and we were talking about the movie, which is a great feeling. I miss that feeling. Michael stands there and he looks at it, and then he turns around, grabs another one, sticks it in the guy's back. And again, he leans back, he kind of tilts his head, and what I was seeing in front of me there was, it looked like when you see a little kid who is coloring. You know what I mean? It looked like a little kid with his coloring book in front of him, and he's looking at his picture, and he goes, oh, no, we need green. You know, insert Michael grabbing a knife, sticking it in his back, takes a second to look at it. No, blue. Grabs another knife, sticks it in the guy's back. No, red would really bring it together. His mannerisms were almost like childlike. It was very cool the way that was played. And I'm going to go into another positive, right? Oh, fuck. I was talking about kills and I got totally derailed. See, this is free form, unscripted. I loved the kill in the car where it was the nurse guy who's dressed as the doctor, but we find out he's actually the nurse. His wife was the doctor. He's in the back seat and he tries his best to protect Marion Chambers. Although I think she's like dead at this point, he wraps the stethoscope around Michael's neck and he's pulling this fucking thing because he knows that everybody is in grave danger. And for a second, it looks like Michael's trying to get it away, and then he just totally stops selling it. And Michael just turns and looks at him like, you're out of your fucking mind, aren't you? So Michael gets in the back seat with the guy, and again, no wasted motion. Upward stab and just sticks this butcher knife handle deep into this guy's eye. Holy fuck, that was awesome. And you know what was really awesome about it is it was a practical effect. I popped huge for that. I popped huge for the practical effect where after Michael stabbed Big John in the armpit, he grabbed him by the skull and he used his thumbs to dig out Big John's eyeballs. Also a practical effect. That was a fake head. When he pushed his thumbs in, those were fake eyeballs that came out. None of this CGI bullshit, you know? And then, yeah, there's a little bit of CGI mixed into the movie, but these big kills, these tent-pole moments, practical effects. And maybe you're like me and practical effects go a long way. I loved it. The bartender character. Let's get into some of these characters real quick. The bartender, I don't remember what the fucking bar was called, but he's that guy behind the counter, and he was just like, just like the way he talks, like he has old Huckleberry on the wall, and when the doctor lady says Michael Myers is in my back seat, Tommy Jarvis grabs the bat off the wall, and we hear the bartender be like, oh shit, Tommy Jarvis gonna fuck him up. Like, he sounds like Dusty Rhodes, kind of. That bartender character was great. I wish I could remember more of his lines because I would mimic them. But I really liked Lonnie Elon. And the second time I watched Halloween Kills was today. I saw it opening day in theaters, and I watched it again today. Don't worry about where I watched it, you know what I'm saying? But Lonnie Elon, is that name a fucking palindrome? You know? It's the same shit, back and forth. Motherfucker's got a name like race car. But I really liked Lonnie Elon, and I like the little touches. Here's some good writing, some good situational and storytelling writing. Allison's boyfriend in Halloween 2018, he goes out to dinner and meets her parents, and Allison's dad says, he says to Allison's boyfriend, your dad and I used to be real close. He used to sell me peyote. And he tells him a story. Here in Halloween Kills, we meet the boyfriend's dad, who is Lonnie Elon, and he says to Allison, your dad used to sell me peyote. Who's the liar here? Huh? Who was the dealer? Neither one of them have any trouble admitting that they used to do peyote together, but who is refusing to take this fall of being the peyote dealer? I like that. That's very funny. And I liked Lonnie Elon because, you know, this movie is kind of overflowing with characters from the past, like Nurse Chambers and Tommy Jarvis and Lindsay Wallace and fucking Laurie Strode. Hey, we even got Dr. Loomis here, and I'll talk about that in a second. But fucking Lonnie Elon, we never knew who this guy was. And he's inserted here as a child from 1978 who has an encounter with Michael Myers. He's being bullied, and then he's running away. And he trips, and then he sees Michael Myers. And he's pleading for his life, and he covers up, and the next thing he knows, the cops are there. That's fucking cool. And through him telling the peyote story and like being there and actually caring about his friends, and they share this scar together. And I don't know who the guy who played Lonnie Elon is, but that motherfucker probably put on one of the better performances in this movie. When he discovers Marion Chambers' body, his reaction is so real, you know? Anthony Michael Hall. Did I call him Tommy Jarvis earlier? I think I called him Tommy Jarvis, which is Friday the 13th, which is, you know, I'm all over the fucking place. Fucking Tommy Doyle, not Tommy Jarvis, god damn it. Oh, I'm sure there's comments already, because it took me a long time to realize that I did that. That's okay. Hopefully you're still listening, and then you'll reply to yourself and say, oh, there you go. Tommy Doyle is, Anthony Michael Hall's not a bad actor, but as a character, I don't like him. And I mean, I don't really think we're supposed to like him. You know, he's kind of overbearing at the bar, and once they kind of get things figured out, he's a nice guy, but he's kind of the one who brings on the evil dies tonight thing and like stripping the power away from the authorities, and we get into the kind of the mob mentality message. Tommy Doyle, I almost said Tommy Jarvis again. Tommy Doyle, listen, there were rumors that, and I think it's confirmed, that Paul Rudd was offered this role, which doesn't make any fucking sense and would be so confusing. I'm so glad that didn't happen. People say Paul Rudd didn't take this role because he's doing the new Ghostbusters, but who would have bought Paul Rudd in this role? You don't want to be annoyed at Paul Rudd. You don't want to boo Paul Rudd. You know, Paul Rudd's over as fuck and always will be. Paul Rudd is babyface 101. There's nothing he can do that can make people upset at him. So, I feel like Anthony Michael Hall, who looks much more like, to borrow a nickname from my buddy Handy Dandy Andy Jarek, who's going to be playing Monday Night Blitz with me. Shout out to Monday Night Blitz, coming November 8th. Anthony Michael Hall is much more of a rough and tumble bad boy. You know what I'm saying? You believe that this big, thick fucker would be the one to grab the bat off the wall and be like, we're going to figure this out. And he would have the fucking catchphrase. I want to talk about, I know we're all over the place here, but that's the way it is. I want to talk about the scene in the beginning where we see how Michael got out of the basement of Laurie's house at the end of 2018. The firefighters come because, I mean, why wouldn't they? Somebody calls the fucking fire department, or they show up. And the firefighters, the floor gives way, and they get down there, and Michael was smart enough to hide behind that steel door. He was smart enough and human enough to realize that he needed to protect himself from the flames. So he hides behind that steel door. So that makes sense. We're going to skip through that. You saw the fucking movie. Let's talk about when Michael walks out onto the front steps, and there's like, I don't know, almost 10 firefighters there, and Michael has this like pickaxe in his hand or whatever the fuck it is. It's like a firefighter's axe. It's real pointy. I didn't know what to think here. And on one hand, I was like, this might be the most badass thing I've ever fucking seen. And on the other hand, it's Michael Myers walking out, and he kind of has this weapon in his hand. He's assessing a threat in front of him, and then he does the like if you have like a big baseball bat or whatever before a fight, you know how you put it in your hand like, well, it's time to go to work. He does that. And I was thinking to myself, are we about to see Michael Myers John Wick a bunch of people? And on one hand, I don't think we did, but on another hand, I kind of think we did. I do kind of think we saw Michael Myers John Wick a bunch of fuckers. I mean, how didn't he John Wick them? He had a weapon in his hand. He started the battle. When people tried to hit him with shit, he dodged it and killed them. The one firefighter has a circular saw, which I don't think firefighters carry circular saws. So, I mean, if they do, maybe they're in the truck. I've never seen one on a fire truck. Maybe they're in one of those compartments. Maybe there's a firefighter in the comments who can say, like, yeah, we have circular saws. But, like, Michael gets the circular saw, turns it on that guy, and chops him up with it. That was a ballsy move. And I liked it because we're treading new ground now. You know what I mean? Halloween 2018 was kind of and I made this comparison in my History Halloween series at some point. I think I said about Halloween 4, how it was going back to basics, but Halloween 2018 was kind of a Force Awakens sort of scenario where it's like, here's the characters you remember, let's get back into the swing of this, you know? And now Halloween Kills, we're going in a new direction where we are now seeing shit we've never seen before. You know, and one of the examples is Michael looking at a threat of multiple people in front of him and taking them all out. We've not really seen that a lot. I guess in Halloween 4, in the back of the truck when he gets rid of all the hillbillies with the knife. Even that, the first time I saw it, I was like, man, this is like a fight. We've never seen Michael fight. He's a sneaker. You know, he's stealth. He sticks fuckers when they're not expecting it. Unless you're Busta Rhymes, then you can beat the shit out of Michael Myers. But in the opening of Halloween Kills, he fights those fuckers and he kills them all. And then, where was I going with this? What was I just talking about? Somebody tell me through the computer screen what I was just talking about. Whatever. Let's talk about... You know what? Here. We'll stick with the fighting thing. At the end of the... Yeah, and we're still jumping around. At the end of the movie, Karen has suckered Michael into a trap, and she hits him once again with gotcha, which she did at the end of 2018 when she shot him in the face. She says gotcha because there are like 10, 11 townspeople, including Tommy Jarvis with old Huckleberry, and Sheriff Brackett. His 117-year-old fucking bones are there to fight Michael Myers because he's going to help. But Michael sees all these people around him. He reaches down, he puts his mask back on, and then it's kind of like a crack the knuckles, all right, let's go to work. And he tries to fight these fuckers, and he's so outnumbered here that they beat the shit out of him, you know? Someone like gets a hit on him, he dodges somebody, he gets somebody puts some business on him, but then someone shoots Michael like 5 fucking times. And Michael, he doesn't no-sell it. He falls, he rolls over, and he's like trying to get up, but he can't. And that's basically the end of him. They fuck him up there. And this was a fight that he was outmatched in, and they beat him. And Karen sticks the knife in his fucking back. That's another thing that we've never seen before. We've never seen Michael take on a mob and they beat him. You know, we saw again to Halloween 4. We saw at the end of Halloween 4 where he sits up, but there's a good amount of distance, and an entire firing squad just pumps him full of lead. You know, if you want to talk about Rob Zombie's movies, at the end of Zombie Halloween 2, what did I call him? H2M4? Hobo Hoodie Mountain Man Michael Myers. Same deal. Firing squad. He gets filled full of holes. But this was a hand-to-hand fight, and he got fucked up. And they beat the shit out of him. And they assumed they killed him because they shot him a bunch of times and he got stabbed. They left him for dead. Another thing that we've never seen before, and this is what I was talking about, when I said some of the most chilling imagery I have ever seen in Halloween. I don't know if it hit everybody this way, but in the 1978 flashback, which I think those were done so well, pause real quick to put over the 1978 flashbacks. Those were fucking so cool. And dude, they even had somebody else play Michael Myers so that he was leaner and faster. Oh, dude, the attention to detail. Nobody in 40 years has been able to recreate that shade of blue for the suit and recreate the Halloween 1 mask that perfectly. Oh, chef's kiss. Great job on the 1978 flashbacks. But where I'm going with this, one of the most chilling things is when Michael, he has the one cop hostage, and our new sheriff, Officer Hawkins, he kind of panics, and he sees his partner getting choked to death in front of him, and he's trying to shoot Michael in the head, but it's a high pressure situation, and he fires and he hits his partner in the throat. And at that moment, Michael just drops him and leaves the house, which is so funny because in his head, Michael's probably thinking like the Nelson from Simpsons, like, ha ha, like, I made you shoot your own partner, you fucking idiot. But Michael leaves, and we knew from Halloween 2018 that Officer Hawkins said he was there when Michael Myers was apprehended in 1978. And I rewatched Halloween 2018 a couple weeks ago, getting ready for Halloween Kills. And when he said that, in my head I was thinking, what does that look like? Because at the end of Halloween 1, he's gone. He's not in the grass anymore. He's gone. At the end of Halloween 2, he's burned alive. He didn't get arrested. He fucking burned up. Other than dog shit Halloween 5, where he's in the cell with his mask on, which is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. Basically what I'm getting at, we've never seen a situation where Michael Myers is arrested. How do you arrest Michael Myers? How do you apprehend Michael Myers? And they answered that question here in fucking bone-chilling fashion. Michael leaves the house. He just turns down the hallway. He walks down the stairs. And we hear Loomis, because Loomis is there, and that was insane. But Michael leaves the house, and we don't really know what happened. Loomis comes in the house, and he's like, Did Michael kill again? Which made my one buddy, the artist, laugh so hard. Because, what a ridiculous thing to say. Has Michael killed again? Yeah, he did. He's been doing it all day. So that was a little dramatic, but... So Loomis is in the house. That means he walked past Michael. Where the fuck did Michael Myers go? When they cut to the outside of the house, and we see Loomis on the steps behind Michael, there are 7 or 8 cops in front of Michael, all guns drawn, and Michael Myers has just stopped. He's not going anywhere. He walked out of that house. He saw all these cops with their guns drawn, and he just stopped moving. And we have never seen that before. He didn't disappear. He didn't go out the back door because he knew the cops were out front. He got out front. He saw this threat. He saw this problem. And he didn't lunge at them to fight them. He just stopped. And I'm I keep saying it over and over because I can't wrap my head around it. It is so strange to me. And I love that moment. It literally gave me chills seeing it. Talking about it now, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that image of him just not moving. I can't believe I'm doing this, but in Halloween Resurrection, Busta Rhymes, Freddy is the character. He's obsessed with comparing Michael Myers to a great white shark, but you never see a fucking shark stop moving. They don't stop. They just keep going and going and going. And you don't see Michael Myers stop dead in his tracks when faced with a problem like that. Oh, it was so cool. It was really fucking cool. Loomis was really cool too. I didn't know what to make of it when I first saw him. I couldn't tell if it was CGI and they had somebody who kind of looked like him and then they played with it to make him look more like him. I couldn't really tell. I know now, and I found out the day after the movie came out, that that's a guy who Danny McBride and David Gordon Green had worked with before, who bears a little bit of a resemblance to Loomis, but that's actually a 12-piece, like, practical makeup effect on his head. That is nuts. That is really cool. If you don't want to hear a spoiler for Candyman, the new Candyman, I'm gonna make this fast. You can hit that fast forward button twice, and you won't hear it. I'm gonna make this real fast. 3, 2, 1. Tony Todd shows up at the end of the new Candyman, and while that's really cool to see him and hear his voice again, his face is fucked up because they de-aged him. They tried to make him look the way he looked in 1992, but it didn't work all that well. End of spoilers. I thought it was very cool to see Loomis here. And, you know, I haven't, like, looked at my notes at all. This is just stream of consciousness. This is just what I'm thinking. One of my notes is Huckleberry over as fuck. Because when we first saw that bartender guy be like, that's old Huckleberry, he's, like, talking about him, my whole theater popped huge. Just for old Huckleberry. Not even a living being. It's a fucking baseball bat. Let's see, what did I write down here? It's hard to read my own fucking writing. But, they go into detail here about... And here's some mixed messaging, and I feel like they're giving us mixed messaging on purpose in order to highlight the hysteria and the confusion and the rage that Michael is creating. Laurie still thinks that all of this is her fault, and that everyone is in the line of fire because Michael is coming after her. Officer Hawkins goes out of his way to say the lines, "It's not about you. It was never about you. It's my fault. I could have stopped this." Because in one of the flashbacks we see when the cops apprehend Michael, someone pistol whips Michael in the back of the head, and when he goes down to a knee, Loomis is going to blow his fucking head off. And it's Officer Hawkins who says, even with everything he had done, I still saw somebody's little boy under that mask. And so he, like, took Loomis's hand and pointed it to the sky so the headshot didn't land. And Officer Hawkins says, it's my fault. I could have ended it that night. And he tells Laurie, Michael didn't break out just now and come looking for you. It's that fucking doctor. Dr. fucking Zatan. I don't know. Dr. San. Any fucking On Cinema fans here? I don't remember what the guy's name is. But he was like, that guy was obsessed with this connection between you and Michael. And Michael didn't break out and go to your house. That guy brought Michael to your fucking house. So he tells Laurie this to her face, and even still, later on, Laurie is still talking like she didn't get that message. And I'll kill him even if he takes my head, and maybe when I'm dead, he'll finally stop, blah, blah, blah. She's not fucking listening, and she's not hearing it. You know, and I think they're doing that on purpose to highlight the hysteria that this has caused. And I do like that they did double down on, like, Michael and Laurie's continued relationship here, because I just said in my explaining the timelines video, like, it's kind of funny to see these two fucking old people of Laurie Strode and Michael still going at it. Now it's for no reason because there's no sibling connection. It's not no reason, you know? The fucking doctor brought him there, and he kills. We know very clearly in this timeline, Michael's gonna get everyone. If he sees you, you're probably fucked. It depends on what kind of mood he's in. And I'm gonna sidestep this real quick to just say, I love that they are not telling us shit. They are not telling us what Michael is, why he does what he does. They use the word evil a shitload, and I know Evil Dies Tonight has kind of become a meme, but that's all we need. Evil. That's all we fucking need. And I am a little nervous that Halloween Ends might try and explain something, or might do something real weird. I don't know. This is all speculation. But let me tell you some things that I thought I was going to dislike in the moment, but they actually made me feel better that they didn't do it. There's a misconception at... Hold on, how long have we been going? Motherfucker, we've been going like 38 minutes. Okay. There's a misconception out there that Michael Myers teleports like Jason does. And I'm here to tell you, no, he doesn't. If you can find me one moment of Michael Myers being behind somebody, they run away, and he appears in front of them, show it to me. It does not exist. Michael Myers does not teleport. Jason does. But a whole shitload of people think that Michael Myers teleports. Never does. And I know what you're thinking. In Halloween 4, Jamie runs away and then she opens the door and Michael's there. That's a dream, sucker. That doesn't count. And then there's another one I was thinking of that was also fucky, and it wasn't real. But Michael's chasing Lindsay Wallace through the trees. And in that moment, we see several times he is walking slow, like he always does, and she is turning around to keep eyes on him and to make sure that he's not gaining on her, you know? And I was like, please fucking God, do not have Michael pop out from a tree in front of her. Do not break that rule. And they didn't do it. That made me very happy. They did not take that easy way out and do that bullshit. They didn't do it. There is a little bit of weirdness as far as teleporting is concerned, but I think it's easily explainable. In the first 1978 flashback, Hawkins sees Michael in the alley. He fires at him and he misses. And Michael, like, walks in between two houses and we see his boots come to, like, a fence and they stop there. But we don't see on the other side of the fence where presumably the boots continue. And this is where I feel like they're trying to give us these mixed signals is we see the footprints end, and Hawkins tells his partner, like, I don't understand. Like, I chased him here. Like, the footprints end here. I mean, common sense would tell us Michael just jumped the fence. You know? I would assume that those footprints continue on the other side of the fence. So that's pretty easily explainable. Do you guys remember that viral video back in the day of, like, the ghost car? And it was, like, a police chase. And, like, the cops were chasing this guy, and on the dash cam, he, like, turns a corner, and when the cops turn the corner, there's a fence there, and the car is gone. It's because the fence on the bottom wasn't connected to anything, and I don't know if you know this, but when the bottom of a chain link fence is not anchored, chain link is flexible. That's why it rolls up into, like, a spiral, like a cone, a cylinder, when it's not anchored down. It's flexible. The car just drove underneath it. Michael just jumped the fence, you know, but... what the fuck else was I thinking about? Oh, there was another thing that I was afraid they were going to do, and they didn't. And this is one of the reasons why I really enjoyed Halloween Kills, was they kept me guessing. I hate when shit is predictable. Drives me nuts. And when they kept touching on Michael looking out the window, and nothing ever happens in Haddonfield. Well, Michael stood here. Maybe he was looking in. He wasn't looking out. He was looking in. I was worried that when the one cop stood there and looked out the window, I was like, wait, is he gonna, like, feel something strange and then, like, act weird? Didn't happen. Michael got him. And then Karen at the end, she stands there and looks out the window. And I was like, is something gonna, like, take over her? Is there something in this spot? But no, there's not. And I don't know if anyone else thought that, or if just my mind was, what the fuck was that? Did you guys hear that? Dude, I'm in my fucking room recording this right now. Did you guys hear that boom? I am in the evil spot. What the fuck, man? Hold on a second. Alright, well, I got up and I searched all around. I legitimately have no explanation for what that sound was. I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to hear it. But something directly behind me caused a big boom. I don't know what the fuck it was. So anyway, I thought they might go down the route of, like, oh, it's that evil spot, and that's what happened to Michael. That's why blah, blah, blah. But they didn't. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do when Halloween ends. Let's speculate about this. Let's talk about this for a second. Are we gonna get an explanation in Halloween Ends? I don't know if we are. I don't want one. I certainly don't want them to try and explain it, because I've made this clear before. I think every time you start to explain things about Michael Myers, that's when it falls apart. That's when it totally unravels and it becomes dog shit. I don't know what they're gonna do, man. Listen, he got shot in the face in Halloween 2018. Laurie stabbed him a bunch of times in 2018. Laurie blew off, what, 2 of his fingers in 2018. He no-sold it. Didn't bother him at all. In Kills, he gets shot in the chest like 5 more times. Allison stabs him a couple times. He gets the shit beat out of him by the mob at the end of the movie, and he pops back up. Now, David Gordon Green, the director, has said, he told IGN that Michael Myers, he doesn't see Michael Myers as supernatural. He sees him as someone who is capable of extraordinary things, you know? And we hear Laurie Strode in her promo at the end, which is fucking killer. She like cuts this promo right before Michael jumps up and like does the final rampage. But she says like, you can't kill it with brute force, and no mortal man can live through what he's been through. So again, mixed messaging. I personally do not understand how he could not be supernatural. And I'm not saying he's a demon. I'm not saying he's the devil. I'm not saying any of this shit. I'm saying I don't know what is going on there, but it seems like something is going on there. You know? He keeps getting fucked up, and he's just not dying. And when the movie wrapped, and the credits are rolling and the lights come back on, and I'm talking to Nigel and I'm talking to the artist about what we thought about the movie, I posed the question right then and there. I was like, so are we under the impression that it's pretty clear that he is not just someone, but he is something? And I think all 3 of us were like, oh yeah, clearly. You know, with everything that he had gone through, and just with how unexplainable and strange he is. You know, going back to 2018, when he's on that block and the little kid's in front of him and he just looks at the kid, and then he turns his head to the right, he sees a woman in her house, goes around the back, stabs her in the throat, goes to the next house, gets somebody else. Why does he do what he does? I don't understand. And I love that I don't understand, because I love these conversations. Trying to figure out what's going on, because they're not telling us. And please don't tell us. I don't want to know. There's another part I really fucking hated that I just saw in my notes, where Laurie finds out that Michael's still alive. And here's what we're going to talk about, the other patient. But Laurie finds out Michael's still alive, and oh, he's coming here and blah, blah, blah. And Laurie gets up, and she's defiant. You know, her fucking insides have just been stapled back together, and it's ridiculous. And she picks up a syringe, plunges it into the pain medication, basically takes the whole thing. And instead of just, like, putting the needle, like, in her hand or in her arm, just finding a vein, you know, she jams it, like hammer fists this needle, this syringe, into her ass cheek and plunges the whole barrel full of pain meds in. That was so fucking stupid. That was so overdramatic and so action movie moment. Here's another issue that I had. At the end, is Cameron the boyfriend's name? Is that coming back to me now? Let's call him Cameron. Cameron and Allison hear a gunshot once Lonnie went inside the house, and they're like, fuck, okay, we gotta go save him. He said he was doing it alone, but we gotta save him. So they get out of this car, and they're armed, and they run up to the Myers house, and instead of like 2 kids who are in high school just like barging the door and like, Dad, Mr. Elon, blah, 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 They both rush up to this door, turn, and hit opposite sides of the door with their back. They look at each other, they nod, and then with perfect tactical, like, strategy, Cameron reaches over and opens the door without standing in the door frame. I'm sorry, where did these two train? Okay, it was so fucking tactical and strategic. I was like, this is out of control. And maybe I'm the only one who noticed that, but it kind of bothered me. Also, Cameron holds a gun perfectly. He has perfect form, which makes sense because his dad is a big gun collector, clearly, got all the sassy tackle he had in his car. So it makes sense that his dad would teach him how to shoot. But fucking Sheriff Brackett, at the end, his 117-year-old frail arm, one-handed, is like having trouble lifting this pistol and keeping it pointed. You tell me the sheriff doesn't know how to hold a fucking gun, but Cameron does? Okay. If his name is Cameron, I don't even remember. But let's talk about the other patient. So I really liked that this guy was included because in 2018, when the hospital bus goes off the side of the road, which we can only assume Michael made that happen, some of the patients are wandering around, but we recognized this Danny DeVito penguin-looking motherfucker who was short and rotund, and he kind of had the Hulk Hogan hair going on. Very recognizable, And when the doctor, these no reason F-bombs. People get on me sometimes about having F-bombs in my scripts. I'm telling you, it's how I talk. Clearly, it's just how I talk. So when the doctor lady says, Michael Myers, he's in my back seat, go look. And then the nurse guy goes like, go look. That popped the theater as well. But I leaned over to Nigel and I go, it's the other patient. It's got to be the other patient. Because it didn't make sense, timeline-wise. How would Michael have gotten there so fast? Michael knows how to drive. This guy clearly was out of his fucking mind. So I knew it was the other patient. And we get to this whole scenario and side story where this guy shows up at the hospital and he's saying, help me, which really makes you feel for the guy because clearly he's very mentally ill. He was on that bus too. And not everybody on that bus is a fucking serial killer. Some people are mentally ill and they hit a certain age where no one can take care of them, so they wind up in places like that. And this guy's got an injury on his head and he goes to the hospital and says, help me. And everyone freaks out and they're like, it's him, and this is where the mob happens, and they overtake the sheriff. Nobody's listening and people are stomping through the fucking hallways. Karen winds up helping him and she's like, I know it's not you. And she tries to help him. And he listens because that's all he wants is help. He's lost. He knows he's lost. So he's trapped in this hallway and people on either side. It was very Frankenstein. People on either side don't want to hear anything from him. They're just, he's evil. He needs to die. Long story short, he gets a fire extinguisher, breaks the window out, and jumps from over 100 feet up. And he splatters on the ground below. His brain is fucking watermelon. And his arm is broken off. And I know some people don't like this movie because of this side story, but I gotta tell you, man, this shit for me was super powerful. This scene, it fucked me up in the theater because I wasn't looking at this guy, no, this isn't Michael Myers, I'm bored. I was in on this story. And I saw this guy who was lost. We could call him a child, because he doesn't have a normal life. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on. So all he wants is help and for someone to listen to him and take care of him. And everyone wants to kill him and he doesn't understand it. It drives him to suicide. And when we see the people around him and we see his dead body, even before that, man, when we get that close up on him and it's real slow and then he steps off the edge, that fucked me up, dude. I didn't like that. And I didn't like it in the sense that in the way that I was supposed to not like it. I felt for the guy. It hurt me, and that's how that was written. And I know some people didn't like this whole thing, and if you didn't, I'm not trying to change your mind. I don't really care whether you like the movie or not, you know? It's not my job to change people's minds. And here's another thing. Somebody on Twitter, I don't remember who it was, I'm sorry. But they tweeted at me and they were like, I'm sitting in the theater and I was watching Halloween Kills and all I could think was, what does Ian think about this movie? Don't think that. Think about what you think about the movie. I'll put up a video later. Watch it for yourself. Enjoy it for you. Don't fucking watch wrestling and be like, I wonder what Dave Meltzer thinks about this. Fuck Dave Meltzer. Don't watch Halloween and be like, what does Ian think about this? Fuck me. You know? Enjoy it for you. And I know, person who tweeted that, your heart was in the right place. And you didn't mean like, oh, you didn't care. You just wanted to know what I think. I'm just saying generally across the board. I liked this quite a bit. Now, it did go on a little too long. I could have done without a little bit of this, and part of the thing that I would have cut is actually Laurie Strode's involvement, where she will not fucking stay, and if we cut this, we'd get rid of the stupid syringe spot too, but she won't stay down. Her insides are barely stapled together. She's the one who says, it's not him, and then she tells Karen, and Karen, here, one of the complaints people have is like, well, how did they know it's not Michael Myers? Nobody knows what Michael Myers looks like. What happened 40 years ago. You know, there's evidenced by this movie with the doctor and the nurse couple. They like don't even remember this. Tommy Doyle, I almost said Tommy Jarvis again. Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace and Lonnie Elon and Marion Chambers, they all know because they were there and they felt it. But other people in this town, not everybody hangs on the fucking every breath of Michael Myers. It was 40 years ago. He was 21 when that happened. Who the fuck knows what he looks like at 61? You know? So that's a whole thing. But yeah, so I'm saying that's the out for the people who didn't like this movie being like, well, how did they know it wasn't him? First of all, nobody knows what he looks like. And second of all, people aren't really getting a clear look at this other patient. Like a couple people saw him and then he scurried away and now they've been chasing him Looney Tunes style through this fucking hospital. Nobody's right next to him saying, oh, I found Michael Myers. He's about 5'5" and he's fat and he's bald. You know? They're just chasing this guy that they think is the cause of all this. So that criticism doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. And I just, all in general, I liked this movie quite a bit. I did. I thought it was great when I saw it in theaters. And I watched it again yesterday. And you want a funny side story. I am not allowed to watch scary movies at my house anymore. And some of you might think, like, oh, your girlfriend, the beautiful Tara Darcy, she doesn't like horror movies, so you're not allowed. No. The dog. Patches Lugosi, the one and only, the immortal. I can't watch horror movies anymore because of Patch. He doesn't like it. Anytime I sit on the couch and I'm writing or I'm playing a video game or editing, whatever I'm doing, he's right next to me, which I love. That's very important to me. But he doesn't like scary movies because they're quiet and then it's like boom and the big soundtrack and people are screaming, and he doesn't like when people are unhappy. And when he hears the screaming and the crazy music, he gets upset, he'll growl, he'll bark, and he'll go into my room, sit on the floor, and he'll bark until I come to check on him. He will leave the room and cause a ruckus. It's a whole thing. So I had to watch Halloween Kills with my fucking headset, which was fine, because it has really nice surround sound, so it was a really nice way to watch it anyway, but I just thought that was funny. I thought it was great when I saw it in theaters. I still really liked it upon second viewing. And listen, if you didn't like it, if you hated it, that's fine. You are fully entitled to your opinion. If you're one of these people who says, like, well, I don't give a fuck about Halloween Ends anymore because of this one, okay, then don't go see Halloween Ends. if you're gonna put a line in the sand like that, put your money where your fucking mouth is and don't go see Halloween Ends. Because if you hated this and you go see Ends and you bitch about that one too, listen, fool me once, you know what I'm saying? Be smart. You didn't like this one, don't go see the next one. But you're entitled to your opinion, and that's fine. If you didn't like this, I'm not even saying you're wrong, because it all comes down to taste. I just don't want you to A, waste more of your money, and B, listen to people bitch. You know? I fucking hate Halloween 5, and there are people in the comments sometimes who say, well, Halloween 5 is my favorite one, and I always just say, I'm happy for you. You know? Good for you. I don't like it, but we don't have to agree on everything. Some people think that this is one of the best ones. I don't think it's one of the best ones. If I was ranking them, this would probably fall somewhere around the middle. You know what I mean? But I did quite enjoy it. I will watch this one again. I'm sure I'll watch it several more times rather soon. And this was just, it was really fun. It was a fun experience. I'm thankful as a Halloween fan to still have the chance to go and see Halloween movies in the theater. You know, it's very fucking cool. And yeah, I'm a fan. I enjoyed Halloween Kills. This was a long-winded, verbose, fucking beleaguered review, but you know how I do things, you know? And I'm very glad I made the decision to not make this a video review, because this would have been such a large, unnecessary file. First of all, you don't need to watch me while I'm speaking about the movie anyway. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And second of all, I just wasn't comfortable with any of it. I didn't like any of the backgrounds I was putting together. I don't like being on camera to begin with at all. I'm kind of thinking about not being on camera at all anymore. I don't even know if anyone would care or anyone would notice if I stopped doing it. But yeah, I wasn't feeling it, so I went this route, and I think that was for the better. But yeah, long story short, I liked Halloween Kills a lot. The best kills in the entire series. Some really chilling moments. A little bit of bad dialogue. The movie is a little overlong. It could be a little shorter. But I am really looking forward to Halloween Ends, and I can't wait to see where we are going. And now that I have wrapped my thoughts, I want to pitch it to you. I want to ask you guys what you think about Halloween Kills, and we're going to take some of your questions right now. And we are back to take your comments and questions here on Halloween Kills. Now, did an entire day pass by between the last couple seconds of this recording? Yes. Is it now 4:30 a.m. on the dot on October 30th? Yes, it is. But see, this is the work that I put in for you guys. I want to have this done and ready for Halloween. So here we are at 4:30 in the morning working on this show. And when I'm done recording this, then I get to edit it. Then I get to upload it. And I'll probably get in bed around 7 a.m. But let's get to it. The first comment I want to pull, this one. And I want to say, I put up this thread asking you guys for your comments and your thoughts and your views on Halloween Kills, and this thread exploded very quickly, and I really appreciate how many of you really came loaded for bear. You know what I mean? Like, there's some great comments here. Some of them were long as fuck, so I can't really use them now, but I'm gonna go back through this thread and I'm gonna read everything. And thanks for showing up, guys. And I do want to say, there's a lot of negative thoughts in here on the movie, which is fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, just like everybody's entitled to one good scare, Michael. Get the fuck out of here. Lots of good comments as well, and I tried to go through and favorite some positive and some negative to shine a light on both schools of thought. And I want to clarify something I said earlier. I should say something I said yesterday. I was saying if you did not like this movie, do not go see Halloween Ends. And what I mean by that is it's just that same sort of school of thought, and maybe it's different with movies, so maybe I misspoke. So allow me to clarify. In video games, you know, if you get a product like WWE 2K20 and it's fucking broken out of the box and it's literally unplayable, and it never should have hit shelves, then you do not buy WWE 2K21 until you find out what's in the box. You know, wait for reviews from sources that you trust. Wait and see if they have fixed the issues from the last release. Do not continue to throw money at something that sucks. That's what I mean. I'm not saying if you didn't like Kills, you are now excluded from Halloween and you don't ever get to watch again. That's not what I mean. And I was thinking about how I worded that. And that's just what I'm clarifying here is I don't want you to waste your money on something that you may not like. And if they continue down this direction, I don't want you to waste your time and money. That's all I'm saying. But at the same time, Halloween Ends is going to be what? Halloween 12? We've been through the fucking ringer. We've been through Halloween 5. We've been through Halloween Resurrection. And I think by now we know some of these are going to suck and some of them are going to be good. So you do whatever the fuck you want to do. And I want to say, I really like Halloween Kills. If you don't, your opinion is just as valid as mine. Let me clarify that as well. Nobody's right or wrong. This is a piece of art we're talking about. You know, it's if you look at a movie I made when I was 12, it objectively sucks. You know, it's not shot well. None of us were actors. It wasn't edited. It was literally a VHS tape that we hit record and stop. That's it. That's a piece of shit. Even as art, it's a piece of shit. But with something professional like this, you either like it or you don't, and there is no right or wrong answer. So I just wanted to clarify that. Now let's get into some of these comments. I went through the list. I went through all the replies and I clicked that old heart icon on the ones that I wanted to touch on. And first up, we've got Paul Laughlin here, who says, absolutely loved it and I adored the flashback sequence. The makeup effects and kills were great. But for Halloween Ends, I'm hoping for a more somber and personal movie. Ideally, I'd love to see one Halloween movie that would emulate the simplicity of the original in terms of pacing and reduction in gore and kills, but I also understand that wouldn't sell the movie in this day and age. Paul, this is really nicely written. You know what I mean? This is put together very well. This is very well put. And I can't say I disagree with you. I feel like there is something to how much time we've spent talking about the violence here in this movie and the fact that it's called Halloween Kills. You know, when Halloween 2018 got announced, I was kind of bummed on the name Halloween. It's stupid. Halloween is a sequel to Halloween. Very dumb. And then they were like, okay, a year after that, they were like, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. My knee-jerk reaction was, it's called fucking Halloween Kills? Halloween Kills what? Who is Halloween? You know, Halloween Ends is cool, but Halloween Kills I thought was a strange name. But I mean, at this point, we cannot say that it didn't live up to its name. Up next, we have George Leah. I liked the film, but that ending wasn't real. No one saw Michael get up, slaughter people. How did she not hear him coming up the stairs behind her? George, I don't know what to tell you. It wasn't real? How do you think it wasn't real? No one saw Michael get up and slaughter people? What about the people he slaughtered? Those people saw it happen. And no one saw Michael get up and slaughter people. So what did we see? It's not a dream. No one is asleep. And the camera is not a person. We are the camera. We are the eyes that are in that scenario, you know? It was real. I don't know. I don't understand this theory that it wasn't real. And how did she not hear him come up the stairs behind her? Have you seen any of the other 10 Halloween or 11 Halloween movies? That's what Michael does. This one I wanted to point out because it's just strange. George, that definitely happened. So, Pimpsy Cola, which is an amazing name. Overall, a really damn good sequel with a high body count, but also really selling the emotional impact of each death, and bringing back that childlike curiosity that Michael had in the earliest films. And I personally enjoyed the plot with the town of Haddonfield experiencing the ill effects of mob mentality. Well put. Well put. Not everybody's going to agree with you, but I agree with you. And especially about the emotional impact of each death. You know, with even the doctor and the nurse couple, we met them in Halloween 2018, and it seemed like we were never going to see them again. And when we see them here and we've spent time with them, we know that the nurse guy is having issues with his boss, and it kind of seems like they're having a rough go of it with Tommy Doyle, but then they meet him and they bury the hatchet. I liked those characters, and his wife, the doctor, first of all, she was fine as hell, and second of all, she was funny. So when they both die in horrible fashion, it was like, son of a bitch, you know? And Lonnie Elon, that actor selling Marion Chambers' death, that was fucking gnarly. We have DKG XX85. I really liked it, but 2018 is still my favorite. The ending was very abrupt, and I think Tommy isn't dead and will have a big role in Halloween Ends. I feel like I'm having flashbacks to George Leah here. DKG XX85. You think Tommy isn't dead? We saw Michael stab him. Michael took old Huckleberry. He swung it downward really hard, and then like a gallon of blood shot up at Michael's face. What? How is Tommy still alive? I don't know where some of these theories come from, man. Shannon Alcorn. I really enjoyed it. Wasn't perfect at times, but somebody who carried the entire movie on his amazing back was James Jude Courtney as the Shape, Michael Myers. The kills were so awesome. I'm not sure how Halloween ends, but definitely interested in finding out. Dude, James Jude Courtney is a motherfucker as Michael Myers. He's so good. So I like that you pointed that out here. We have Dale George Fair, who says, just be honest about the movie, please. That will do fine. And I actually responded to you here on YouTube, and I said, I'm going to be honest. You might not agree with it, but I'm always going to be honest with you guys. So we have John Godsey here. Says, I like the movie. The only issue I see is, 1, dialogue was cheesy. Evil dies tonight was said too much. 2, why is everyone attacking Michael one at a time? Like, gang up on him already. However, I was happy to see the movie in... Take 2. I was happy to see the inventive kills and creepy atmosphere. The flashback was amazing. So the dialogue was cheesy. Yeah, I agree with you there. I made sure I touched on that, like, the first thing that I talked about. And why is everyone attacking Michael one at a time, gang up on him already? You definitely have a point there. I mean, it felt like a martial arts movie at times, where everybody stands back until, well, now I'm going to run at Bruce Lee, wheel kick. I'm going to run at Bruce Lee, crane kick, you know? But it is what it is, man. What are we supposed to say? Scrolling down here, finding the next comment. STR2D3PO says, personally, I liked it. I did think the ending was kind of silly, but overall, I thought it was a great movie. I especially liked the flashback scenes. Seems like a lot of people are big fans of the flashback scenes. You thought the ending was kind of silly, and that is something I'm seeing in these comments quite a bit. That you guys thought the ending was kind of silly. We have Paul Gilly. Gilly? Yeah, Gilly. I had to get a little closer to the computer, you know. Paul Gilly says, felt like this fell into mindless slasher tropes instead of what makes Michael Myers special. Yes, he's seemingly unkillable, but it was the sneaking and stalking and popping up from out of nowhere that always made him better than the others. It just seems like this movie especially was just rehashing certain elements and jumping the shark with others. I mean, the showdown at the end was just too much. He kills everyone, including the lady who came armed with a clothes iron. Felt like they put Take 2. Felt like they put a Michael Myers mask on Jason and called it Halloween Kills. That's another thing that I've seen repeated through these comments, and I've seen people say it on Instagram. Jerry Horror, who has a great podcast called The Offering that I highly recommend. He tweeted, I think it was like the day after Halloween Kills came out. I assume it's right when he saw it. He put up a tweet that said, Halloween Kills is the best Friday the 13th movie. Which is a pretty funny way to say it. And this movie definitely does put Michael in different shoes. So I'm not going to disagree with you that he's way more aggressive and way more brutal here. And you are not as big a fan of it as I was, and that is totally fine. Everybody's entitled to one good scare. I can't help it. Event Horizon is here. I'm surprised how divisive the movie is. To me, it instantly goes into my top 3 movies in the franchise. Might be some recency bias there, but I loved it. The Mask is my favorite in the series. The portrayal of Michael is the best in the series. I'm 42, so this trilogy isn't my first dive into the series. I even have a huge tattoo of Michael on my inner forearm. The kills were great. I also love the flashbacks. There was some stuff I didn't like, of course. It's not perfect, but a worthy middle installment in my opinion. I think this is super fair. When you say it goes in your top 3, which might be some recency bias, maybe it is, and I think I said earlier, I am not going to rank this one yet. I need to sit on it for a while. I need to see it a couple times, and it's just way too soon to like put it in the all-time ranks. It's only been out for a couple weeks, you know. But I don't think I would rank it quite as high as you. I think I said before, this would probably sit around the middle for me. But I think that was a very fair write-up. And I think that those were the only ones I've selected so far, because I don't want this fucking review to be 2 hours long. But let's take, fuck it, we're already here, let's take a couple more. Now I'm going to read ones I haven't even gone through yet. Darth Kai says, after seeing it, I totally agree with RLM's review. I don't know what RLM is. What is RLM? Whatever, I don't know. It's Titanic meets It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. It's probably one of my least favorite in the franchise. They dropped the ball, big time, on this one. The first one was so good. What happened here? Will Conrad responded to Darth Kai and said, they fucked up planning a trilogy instead of just doing 2 movies, or just not planning out the trilogy well enough. It's like they had a beginning and an end and was like, shit, this isn't enough for 3 movies. Now, obviously, I don't agree with you guys, but I mean, that doesn't mean your opinion is any less valuable than mine. There were a number of comments in here that just say, this is filler, this felt like filler. I don't know who started like that whole thing of this is filler. But here's the deal. When you have a trilogy, and technically it's not a trilogy because Halloween 1 counts, but this new age trilogy of 2018 kills and ends, the middle portion is where we get a lot of action, you know? We reset the stage with 2018. We are seeing the continued fallout and building of the issue, and then in the third part, the final part, we will have culmination. We will have an actual ending. One of the reasons that I did not take such an issue with this one being an open book at the end is because the next one's called Halloween Ends. That is where the ending is coming. Of course this is a middle chapter, you know? That's just how it goes. Let's take 2 more. Here's another negative one. We have X Doolittle X, who says, I really didn't enjoy it. As a whole, it felt like filler to pad 2 movies into a trilogy. The Strodes are minor characters in the movie, so they're basically frozen waiting for something to do come the 3rd movie. Michael isn't stalking anyone in the movie, just kind of bumbling about between kills. Very few people in the movie are even scared of him, so it's hard to get too scared yourself. He's being hunted by a mob. He's the underdog in a 500-to-1 fight instead of the villain. I did enjoy Michael's 2 slow-motion fight scenes, even though they were out of place for the franchise. Michael walking out of Laurie's burning home to confront the firemen was pretty badass. I respect your opinion, but I disagree completely that very few people are scared of him. Everybody who saw him was petrified of him. I don't really know where that comes from. And Michael isn't stalking anyone. Yeah, you're definitely right there. He's on the offensive this time. He's looking for people to kill instead of sneaking up. But it's hard to get scared of him yourself. I completely disagree on that regard. When I walked out of the movies and I said to Nigel and Artis, I was like, I think this is by far the scariest he has ever been. By far, this is the scariest Michael has ever been. Because, I mean, in H2O, that's just the first one I thought of. What's he do? He stabs you a bunch of times. You're dead. In Resurrection, it's fucking funny, and he gets his ass kicked by Busta Rhymes. In the other movies, he pops out of nowhere and you're done. In this one, he is so fucking nasty, and it really seems like he wants to hurt some of these people before he kills them. And the posing of the bodies and like turning them into fucking like art installations. I think this Michael is so nasty and so evil and so scary that I don't see this Michael as cool or like badass at all. I want this Michael dead. This guy, he's so fucking bad. This guy needs to go. I see him as bringing so much pain in what he's doing that he needs to die. Like, they keep saying in the movie he needs to die, and I'm fucking with him. Yes, Evil Dies Tonight is a meme. I didn't say that. But this guy's gotta fucking go. So, but I like that you don't like it and you gave reasons why you don't like it. Even if we don't line up on them, I always respect someone who says, I didn't like it, here's why. You know? Or if someone says, I love it, here's why. That, to me, that gives me something to hold on to agree with, to disagree with. That's where a conversation comes in, you know? If someone just says, fucking sucked, okay. Thanks. Let's take one more. We got the Brandman 2284. I liked the 2018 Halloween more, and I see that this is leading to a final confrontation that will see both Laurie and Michael kill each other. I think that is what will happen in Halloween Ends. Brandman, I think you're probably right. I hope you're right. And I'll close this now by saying that Halloween Ends needs to be the fucking end. Let's have some respect for this. Let's close the fucking book. Laurie needs to die. Michael needs to die. I don't ever want to hear the fucking name Dr. Loomis, Laurie Strode. I never want to hear it again. This needs to end and be over. I understand the business side of things, and they'll reboot it in 10 years, you know? That's fine. I know that's gonna happen. But this story needs to fucking go away. It needs to go away with Halloween Ends. That's how I feel about it. And if we don't get that sort of finality, I will be very disappointed with this new trilogy. That is where the disappointment will come in for me. I want finality. That's what I want. And I hope that we get it. I would not even mind, and you know what, I think I would prefer it in, let's just say, in 10 years, when they reboot this after Halloween Ends. Give it some time, man, and I would love to just take the Halloween 3 approach. If we finally kill Michael and Laurie and put it in the fucking ground, that would provide the perfect excuse to sidestep and play with this anthology shit a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. How do you guys feel about that? Thank you very much for listening to my review of Halloween Kills, and I hope that you don't mind that this was an audio review. But once again, you really don't need to look at my fucking face while I'm saying this. It adds nothing to it. And this way, you can just minimize the window and go about your business and just listen and have a good time as we talked about Halloween Kills. I tried to do my best here to take as many positive and negative comments as possible to keep it fair. I really liked it. I know some of you really did not, and that's totally fine. We are all still Halloween fans. Maybe some of you aren't. Maybe some of you quit, and that's fine. I know I quit after Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I was like, fuck this. But luckily we never got another one of those. Dan's, it is Halloween. I love ya. And I will see you very soon.